We want to make sure that the day is kind of a combination of some thought leadership, some new ideas, some perspectives from the industry, but we want to also make sure that the day has got some practical tips and advice. So our next session is with Tourism Barrie. Anybody been to Barrie? I like it. The last time I asked that question at a summit in Dublin, it was fewer hands. So we've got Kathleen Trainor, Executive Director from Tourism Barrie, long time Flywheel client, long time Sitefinity client. And in conversation with Kathleen is our good friend Chris Knepp from Sitefinity. Chris is our partner manager. We work with Chris weekly on all things related to helping everybody that uses that platform and helping us go to market with that. So really excited to have both of them up here to have this conversation. We're going to go through a little bit of the story that Kathleen can help us narrate and share, but I promise we'll get a little bit more of the questions coming from folks in the room with this session. So we'll go for the next half hour and kind of a mix of questions and reflections from Kathleen and Chris. So thank you both.
Thank you, Scott. Can everyone hear me? Is my mic on? I think it is. Sounds good. Well,
is mine on? Yes.
There it is. All right, there it is. Well, no, thank you so much, and thank you, Kathleen, for joining us today. It sounds like everybody but me has been to Barrie. Maybe one day I'll get up there, but really appreciate the time. So, I guess we'll just kind of start off with Kathleen. It's like, what is Tourism Barrie?
So Tourism Barrie is what you call a DMO, a destination marketing organization. We represent the city of Barrie's tourism industry. Barrie and area because all the hotels are in Barrie and all the outdoor recreation is in the outskirts. So we're more Barrie and area tourism office. And I think one of the main points, what's different is there's a municipal accommodation tax that's on your hotel room, and you can see that when you go to Toronto, Kingston, et cetera, across Canada. And so right now the incentive is you have to drive people to your hotel overnight stay because the only investment in tourism is through the municipal accommodation tax. So we surround ourselves with focusing on making sure people stay overnight so that more people stay overnight, the more hotels, the more money we make.
That's fantastic. So yeah, it sounds pretty good. So one of the concepts that we've talked about with your team is you don't have a very big team.
No. So we do run the Tourism Barrie, and then we have 5 microsites after that, and I think we have 4, 5 social media. TikTok is on and off, so between 4 and 5. And we do have a lean team. There's 3.5 of us running our office, and we do have 2 summer students. So we are lean, and we've been 3 people for the last 8 years. Okay.
And with your 3.5 people, we'll call it, how much economic revenue do you bring in for the?
So it's $600 million in economic impact for the tourism industry to Barrie, and we got that through because we use Environics Analytics that does our mobilescape. So we're able to see everyone who comes in by the cell phone, who stays, who doesn't, separate the residents, and that's how our economic impact is $600 million. And then we separated them into sport tourism, festival events, and then leisure and marketing and meetings. So if you combine them all together, and day trippers and overnighters, that's what it is.
Kathleen, do you remember the number that comes just from hockey and hockey events and?
70 million came from specifically hockey. So if you add our sport tournaments, our local, regional, provincials, and we have it's called the Barrie Colts. Yeah, Colts. Boo Knights. But with the Barrie Colts included that, it's 70 million in economic impact.
Just from hockey?
Just from hockey.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about, you said you use a tool or a third party to, how do you guys track the impact through the cell phones?
Yes, it's Environics Analytics, which is owned by Bell Canada. So when your cell phone comes through, it bings, and it's through your Bluetooth. I don't know how techie people are. Some people are like, what? And I'm like, turn the Bluetooth off. Yeah. They're watching you. I made a joke the other day to council because I'm like, I know all your information. I know where you're going. But Environics Analytics bings your phone. They have 100,000 different apps that they arrive from, and I guess they have like a little mini persona of you. Yeah. It's done through your postal code, and it's very technical, and we can then isolate through, because Environics knows where you sleep at night. So it knows, it does. It tracks where your stays put for the 8 hours.
Yeah.
So,
Excuse me while I turn my phone off.
yeah. So it knows where you sleep at night. So it figures out when you're coming in, if you're a day tripper, and if you're there, and then how long you stay in our area.
Nice.
So that's how we've been using Environics. Will be our second year. That's how we were able to come up with all the economic impacts.
Wow, that's incredible. So you just had your annual meeting
Yes.
with the town.
Yes.
And any highlights you'd like to share and just kind of how you guys have done over the last year?
Yeah, we did really well. Our occupancy increased, so we went up another 53 million in economic impact from 23 to 24. And we really do that because we are a lean team, because we're a not-for-profit, so we're looked through our municipality. We collect the municipal tax, so it's public money, and so you're scrutinized, and so they don't like giving you money for staff, believe it or not. It's frowned upon. They want you to be a 60-40, so only 40% of your overall operating needs to be for staffing, if not like operating, and the rest has to go to marketing. So we have a very lean staff, and I think our success is driving everyone to the website. We've got all the social media. And one thing because we are talking about digital and AI, we use a lot of AI. And we actually had 4 people, and then when COVID, we went down to 3, but we didn't have to bring in another full-timer because AI and that whole integrated with the Sitefinity and our website and using Flywheel, of course, thank you, with our marketing, and that whole integrated allows us to really have less staff.
Yeah, that's great.
They do work 19 hours a day. I forgot to tell you, against the labor
Not
laws.
allowed to leave the office.
Yeah, they never leave the office. We got beds there. So we are lean, and you have to stay lean as a not-for-profit because you are scrutinized by everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you talk about some of the, just the overall wholesome digital, experiences? What are the elements that comprise your digital efforts on an ongoing basis? So you talked a little about the website. Are there any other digital elements you guys utilize?
So we do Google search. We geofence all our beaches so that there's digital. So when you're on our beach, you get all our ads. We geofence all the hotels, so when you're in the hotel, you get all our ads. We do, I think Scott's better at telling us, because I just call up Aaron and Scott and we want to do this. So we do Google searches, we do that. We do some programmatic. We are really big with the GO train, the commuter train. And so we place digital ads on that. Pam's here. What else do we do, Pam? Oh, and social. We do a lot of social. We post probably 3 times a day. When we have our summer students, they'll be posting 3 or 4 times a day.
I mean, one of the things that one of the business rules that we all have to follow is no stock photography. It's all real stuff. It's got to be the real experience. I don't know if it was one of your follow-up questions, Chris, but there's also the QR codes that you deployed. Do you want to explain how that works?
Yep. The QR codes?
Yeah, they're located throughout Barrie. Is that?
Yes, we have QR codes throughout Barrie. We have QR codes going up on the GO train as well. So the GO train digitals will actually have the QR codes that drive you back. We run a little golf cart along the waterfront, and that had QR codes. So that was a really good pilot project, because we were able to go back to the city and say, because they're always like, what do you use our money for? And so we're like, we helped 11,000 people because they clicked on that QR code. And so the QR codes are really effective for that KPI that everybody, and also if the program is effective.
Yep.
So we use the QR codes. Still looking at Pam because they're the genius. I just go do it. No. Here's the money.
Well, just going back to Scott and what Sarah was saying, it sounds like you guys try a lot of different things.
We do try a lot of different things. I'm really big in experimenting, and you're absolutely allowed to fail. I had a mentor once that put 20% of your budget should always be for blow up, experiment, don't worry about it. So, we do that. And so, I'll try something once, and if
there's
it fails,
a few other clients in the room. Can you say that again?
If it fails, I blame Flywheel. No, I'm kidding. That agency of record did it.
Yeah.
We told them it shouldn't do that. But no, you have to do the experiment absolutely to see. And right now what we're finding is through that Environics and the personas that we did on the website, regrettably, you can't remarket anymore, which we loved because you could do that. We found that the main demographic that comes is an outdoor recreation because we are 4 seasons. You can ski. There's 4 ski resorts around Barrie and lots of outdoor recreation. And so, you know, having that and making sure people see themselves in all of our marketing and all the social media is really important. And so, you know, I think you have to have that so that they see themselves there, or then who we're lacking as well.
Sure.
So, and who's not coming. And
So it sounds like you guys are doing quite a bit of segmentation.
Yes.
In your personas.
Yes.
And are you guys then personalizing that experience to those segmentations?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And so now, hopefully by fall, we'll have the AI on our website. So again, because we have a lean team, we have an online chat. It's shitty, like you said. I don't know if that was a technical word. I think it sucked.
Yeah.
So we do have an online chat. We do real time from 9 to 5. And then we put the online, so we're, but because we're 3 people, I have to work every third Saturday. So our new thing is to bring in AI instead of hiring somebody, and hopefully we don't have to work Saturdays, and we'll just turn AI on. And so that will be in the fall. We'll test it and see if it's a good idea.
Yeah. Quality of life AI.
So we'll have our Saturdays back, and during the, I mean, we're in the down seasons, November's, we pick up again and do real time in December when everyone goes skiing. But in those kind of lull times, if we can save on labor, then we'll use the AI chat, which Flywheel's going to implement in September.
That's great. So where do you see the biggest opportunity in expanding your impact?
The biggest opportunity?
Would it be like, you know, sports tourism events?
Well, right now the leader is sport tourism.
Yep.
Barrie's just prime for sport tourism. I am speaking in front of council next week because festival events is also really important, and tourism, your festival events important because there's no brick and mortar, and because Barrie really doesn't have attractions within Barrie. Your big thing is a festival event culture, and so I think that's also an opportunity. But you know, you have to have the data to help you know, for the municipalities to understand that. You can come to see Dean Brody if you're country fans. It's 21st. It's a free concert in downtown Barrie. Because we found that like 36% of the people who come to Barrie listen to country music. So we're like, we should put on a country to get them more to come into Barrie. So those are the opportunities right now. We're trying to really hone in on high-yielding our high-yielding clients, because we, through the Environics, when looking at demographics and seeing a lot of the people that come to our festival events are there because it's free. So they're not high-yielding. You're not your higher affluent impact that would be able to buy those expensive items in the boutique restaurants or stay overnight, because again, our investment's always overnight. So right now that's what we'll be focusing on. And then I think it was crazy because like 10 million people come to Barrie, and there was like 3 million came to the waterfront, and Environics actually gives you 3 million postal codes. So we're soon going to plop into AI to give us the postal codes and where they come out, so then that we can figure out where they're coming from, and then who we're lacking, and then where we should really be targeting. And I guess more importantly, if we're targeting the Ottawa market, which we do, a lot of people from Ottawa come to Barrie, and we can benchmark it, and then over the years see if our marketing actually worked. We won't tell anybody that we're doing that, but we should. Yes, of course it worked.
We'll have you back next year.
Yeah, we'll have it. So, I mean, one of the other things is that when you are spending, you know, $100,000 more, budgets are big, and you know, you're spending your $500,000 on marketing, you want to make sure it works. Yeah. And so that's where we'll be heading, is it working? And then with the online chat, people coming on the website are they asking what we're actually putting out there? So if you're putting a big festival events out, are they coming back and saying, when is that festival? So we have to also ensure that what we're doing works, because now our marketing has to be a precision and effective very cost effective and precision to where we want to go, especially if there's a downturn in the economy. then less people stay in the hotel, so our dollars drop. So you need to be really precise and precision of the core, and that's what we've always done and where we've been successful, because we know who's coming to Barrie and where we should be heading. So
That's great.
Should we take some questions? Where did you
I just have one other question.
go for it?
Yeah.
Just kind of wrap this up. So what's on the horizon? What's next? Talked a little about AI, but what else?
Well, I think right now what's really interesting is definitely AI. Someone asked us what's on that. And so right now people are going on to AI, and I took it from a story of, his name is Greg Oates. He works for a company called NetFactor, and I saw him last year, and they're doing a software that had for meeting and conferences. And so you literally go into the software and say, I want a conference that fits, 500 people, they're minors, we have 90 vegans, we want this, we need this many breakout rooms, we need a stage, we want entertainment. And so now people are choosing a conference based on the amenities, not that it's in Denver or Toronto. And so that whole experience people aren't going, oh, Toronto, salesperson came and Toronto's beautiful. They're now looking for the venue that suits what their needs are. And I think that's the same that's going to happen with AI. So right now when you go to Barrie, I met these people, they traveled all through Wales because they were rugby fans, and she used AI to say, when's the next rugby team? And she would go to these little tiny towns in Wales to watch little local rugby, and her whole 3 weeks vacation in Scotland and Wales was through AI following. So that inspired me. So that is next on it. We have to, I'm always going back and forth, and I don't know if anyone can answer that. It would be great. I want to see if Tourism Barrie can put out so much content, and by using AI on our chat, AI and Gemini and chat, say, oh, their AI, what their messaging is valid, we'll repeat it, and we show up on their sources. And so that Tourism Barrie's message and what you want, where you're going, is made from us and then there. And also, someone's going to go, I want to go to Barrie, I want to stay at a hotel, there's spa, and I need to relax, and so that we show up. So right now, like, I want to take a day trip anywhere, and an overnight trip with my date night. And do I go to Kingston? Do I go to Barrie? Do I go to Burlington? Do I go to Blue Mountain? And so if you can effectively put all that content, Barrie will shine. Like, oh, Barrie has all that stuff? Let's go there for date night. That's my ultimate goal. Nice. So I'm not too sure how to do that. If someone can answer that would be great. Yeah. But that's what we're hoping.
I'll send you a meeting invite. We'll get on that tomorrow
morning.
Yeah.
I think Scott has an answer.
Make sure we influence.
All right, we got a few questions. I'll come to you, Andrew. I'm going to start with Dave. You had a question earlier?
Just two quick questions. Number one, the name of that platform, Environics?
Oh, yes, it's called Environics Analytics.
Environics?
Yeah, analytics.
Okay, and
Environics. Yeah, it's owned by Bell Canada.
Okay, and yeah, I was going to say, how did you find them, and what separated them from their competitors for you?
They're Canadian. So there's a couple of other Americans that do near north. There's that same mobile. So one, Bell Canada owns them. So Bell Canada has already tracked you. They have like 10 million people already in their data. So they already have your phone. And they did that 10 years ago. So when you're already in there, so when you come through, you're binged. So we used Environics Analytics because it's the leading one in Canada. And it's Canadian. Yeah. But it's not cheap, by the way. Yeah. And so what's kind of interesting there is Environics Analytics actually supplies all the data that we do to Destination Canada. So as a tourist office, we're responsible, we feel a responsibility to feed Destination Canada with what's happening. So Destination Canada has an agreement with Environics that everyone who buys Environics actually puts it into what they call the data collective, and then Destination Canada, which is our main tourist office, knows what people are doing and has all our data so that they can then focus their marketing on bringing internationals for where they want to go.
They were going to call it Skynet, but they weren't.
Yeah.
Kathleen, I was curious to know how the economic impact of Tourism Barrie compares to comparable cities, either in the province or nationwide, just in terms of how successful you are, and assuming you have that comparison, also like how you think your digital work sets you apart from them.
So a lot of your economic impact actually comes from what they call an ADR, which is your average daily room rate. So it's based on your hotels. So Barrie hotels and Barrie is lower than Kingston and some of the other ones because their hotels are more of a 5-star, like Ottawa would have double because they have more 5 stars and their hotels cost more. So a lot of your economic impact is derived from that. And then how many hotels, because your largest economic impact is an overnight stay. And so it depends on occupancy, how much your room nights are, and then how many hotel rooms you have. So Kingston, for instance, has double the hotel room. So does Sudbury. I don't know what's going on in Sudbury, but we're like, what? What is there? Like all those hotels? What's in Sudbury? Oh, so, but they have double the rooms we do, and their average daily room rate is double Barrie. So their economic impact actually would be probably a third more. So it's hard to compare because there's all those variables, but it's we have a very high occupancy, so we're trending higher than Ontario. So a lot of people come to Barrie, and especially we know they come in the winter, and we know that's this year we skyrocketed because the winter were so bad. People stayed overnight, they're not driving. So that leisure tourism is double in the winter than it is in the summer.
But maybe
so it's a variable. If that makes sense to you, it really, yeah.
In terms of tourism's impact on Barrie itself relative to other sources of economic development, do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, so we know, because you get something called the Star Report, we know from the Star Reports that 685,000 people stayed in a Barrie hotel, and we did the economic impact, and that one, pure people staying overnight in a Barrie hotel, came to, we have our annual report there, came to 211 million. And then Airbnbs, we have a lot of Airbnbs that came to 74 million. So we know from who stayed overnight, that economic impact of a pure tourist is probably 300 million. And then the other one is the day trippers.
I think there was a question at the back there.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, I have a question around the wellness segment and whether Tourism Barrie is focused on that, recognizing when you talk about kind of the crossover with sport, but also with that high yielding customer.
Yes, it's on our radar, so that whole wellness. So right now, actually, just a stupid little story, there's a little conservation, it's called the Nottawasaga Conservation. They have this beautiful conservation and all these trails. So we went out there and we're doing a whole photo shoot, and we're gonna make them do where to do Zen. So they're gonna do a whole trail, and then they're gonna sit there and Zen, and they're gonna do earthing, and we'll have forest bathing. And so an interesting story is we did this big wellness with Destination Ontario, and this lady, she's like this grandma who makes cookies. When I call her out, she's like, hey, I'm just taking the cookies out of the oven. This is true. But she runs Beth Forest Bathing. So she was part of our wellness campaign this winter where you went skiing and then you did forest bathing. She got 73,000 direct links to her website. It like blew up because she couldn't even do it. Because she's just like this lady who takes people through a little park in Barrie called Sunnydale to forest bathe. But everyone loved forest bathing, and it was really sexy. And then people thought, I actually thought she was like bathing like with water, and I'm like, you're like in a bathtub naked, like what? But it's not.
You're bathing in the forest.
Yeah, now
in
I know
nature.
what forest bathing is.
It's letting the nature
But
watch over you.
it's a huge trend. It did really, really well this winter with our campaigns. And of course, we have Veta Nordic Spa not far, and Scandinave. So I do recommend, if I don't know what business you're in, but that wellness and that retreat is trending very, very high. That whole I need me time, I need time for myself is a huge trend in tourism, and we need to do more of it.
I've worked with a number of destination organizations globally, and that we've seen that for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's just really spiking, and when you look at that high yield, that's where they'll come and they'll invest, they'll stay a couple nights, and they make it, and a lot of group travel is happening that way as well, specifically with the demographic of women. So
Yes, so this summer you'll see our Where to Go Earth and Get Earth Energy in the Nottawasaga Conservation. We have real people going out that do this to market. There'll be a QR code so they can figure out what to do, and so we'll come back next year and tell you how our wellness did.
Environics will just put it on your phone for
I'm going to
you.
bring a group out. So we'll come
Yeah,
and do
absolutely. Call us up. We'll tell you where to go.
It. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'm going to go over here first.
I heard that Scott mentioned that you're moving away from stock photography, and so we're actually doing kind of the same thing. And I'm just curious to know, with such a small team, how are you able to get all the photos on
Yeah.
Google and all your social media channels?
We moved away from clip art. We call it clip art. We moved away from clip art probably 10 years ago. We have a professional photographer. Nat Karen's her name. She's been our official professional photographer for 15 years, and she knows us so well. She knows what to take, so when she's out and about, she'll take pictures and then resell it to us. And we have our own videographer, and they go out and we do photo shoots. If you go on Tourism Barrie's website, you will see my son, 7 years old, and now he's in the ski pictures as a 20-year-old man. So Pam's children are all there. We won't tell you who they are. But yeah, we're running campaigns, and Pam's kids, like, they were little and they're eating blueberries and stuff. And she's now like 17. She's like, get that picture off. So we use all our models, and we do that, and it's very important. We load it into AI, and our Kim's our digital marketer. She does all our design work. And she came here today because she introduced us to Sitefinity, and she's got thousands of pictures. And that's what we do. We've always had I recommend you get an official photographer, and we own all the pictures. So we own them outright, and yeah.
In terms of the economic impact, which I believe was $600 million for the tourism in the area, but in terms of the use of AI and other similar digital tools, have you guys been able to quantify what the return on investment of that has been in terms of increased economic impact, or how the cost of those tools versus the additional economic impact of using them has played out? Because you've mentioned in terms of some qualitative impact, you might be able to get Saturdays off and things like that,
Yeah.
and that's for your staff as well, loss of benefit. But in terms of kind of the air quotes business growth of it, have you guys looked at that as well?
That's really hard. Of course, we did a great job. So we get something, it's called the Star Report. It's the largest property. All the hotels, third party, have to use a Star Report. That's how the hotels get their franchise fees, et cetera. So we use this third party called the Star Report, and that's our KPI. So we see experimental increases in our occupancy. One year we actually had a 15% increase in our occupancy when we bring out the new websites and stuff. So it's hard to do that, but we know, Flywheel built us our website last year, and we rolled that all out. We rolled a whole new look and feel, and we did a big branding, et cetera, and our economic impact went up by $53 million. So, I don't know, you can connect that.
Okay, you got that?
Yeah, I don't know if you can connect that, but
ROI on one website is $53 million. Thank
It's
you
really
very much,
hard.
Kathleen. It's been
Yeah, because we're actually a portal to the 230 other companies we represent in the tourism industry, they see Tourism Barrie on their analytics, and they see that working. So, we have a 98% retention rate on all of our clients. They come back, they're on our website. And because they see the traffic going there, and we have naysayers, they're like, oh, you don't do anything for me, and then we go on our analytics and we're like, oh, guess what, we sent you X amount. We also have a software, it's called Benwango, it's our couponing. It's quite sophisticated, for analytics, and every single person that redeems a coupon, we actually see it. So Montana's in town, there's like, oh, we don't get anything from you. I'm like, no, we actually brought you $58,000 in business because that's how many times your coupon was actually used in your Montanas. So we do see that, we do track that. So I think the ROI definitely is there on all those things that we do.
I think one of the things that Tourism Barrie does really well is they think about how to answer that question before they sort of set out to do a new campaign. It's like, how do we know if we can measure the impact of what we're doing? It's so ingrained in the organization, needing to. Your client are the visitors, but your client is also city council.
Yes.
And needing to justify your existence.
Yes.
and when you have to report back like that regularly, it really sharpens your pencil. So, Thank you. We're going to take another 5-minute break, set up a new presentation, and we're going to be talking about the ROI of your commerce experience with Tom from Znode. So give us a couple more minutes, stretch your legs again, but we'll kick off in, my watch keeps shutting off, at about, about 12 after 11.
And just to finish the methodology, I do have to give a shout out to Destinations International. It's the umbrella group. We use their event calculator and their festival event calculator and their sport tourism calculator. We also use the Ministry of Tourism. It's a very good thing. It's called TREAM. We use the Ministry of Tourism's TREAM, and we run both of them to make sure that the numbers are aligned. And so shout out to them, because we actually use North America's leading economic impact calculator to do our numbers. We don't make them up.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a formula that you follow. Okay, let's make it 11:15 and we'll get the next presentation underway. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Chris.